just for a second, because now we've done the look and feel. And let's just understand the three key parts of MT4 that make it algorithmic, that make this software much more than just simply a chart and a point and click thing. There are three parts to MetaTrader 4. Indicators, which provide some kind of a piece of information. So, and I'll show you something. I'll show you actually a very cool indicator that's completely different from anything you've seen. But the MetaTrader 4 itself comes with a whole bunch of standard indicators that most of you know: Bollinger Bands, RSIs, oscillators, ATR, a million other things that I don't even know about. Volume indicators. And indicators do nothing but simply provide information for you. Okay, so they're sort of the lowest level of intelligence. The next level of intelligence is scripts. Scripts are pre-written programs, many of them free, and I'll show you a couple of scripts that I have, whose only function is to do a single one-time function. That's the key thing. The script is a single one-time use piece of software. Open this, close all my trades, do that. See, you can see, change templates, change time, sort of a single one item task. That's what scripts are designed for, and that's the next level of intelligence. And finally, the highest level of intelligence in MetaTrader 4 is expert advisors. Expert advisors are robots or software programs that can be as complicated as anything you can imagine. They can literally run 24 hours a day and execute trades and reset trades and manage your account and do a million different things. There are simple robots, there are complex robots, there are robots in between. There are robots that primarily function to help you trade execute, meaning that they manage. Let's say you have a very complicated strategy that says, if I buy here and it goes down, I buy more here, and if it goes down, I buy more here, and then if it goes 50 points against me, I want the stop to be moved 20 points into the money, and I want the whole thing to be to be taken out at this particular take profit margin if the price have changed, right? Some very, very complex trade execution methodology, which is actually describes the bread and butter EA that I trade with. You can do that. Suppose you have an EA that just simply has a strategy of yours: buy $1 anytime it's above the 100, 200, 300 moving average, and don't sell it until the 200 crosses the 100, whatever, right? And it will just do that in perpetuity. You can just set it to go. It will buy it, sell it, wait for the next signal, buy it, sell it, sell it, sell it. You never have to do anything about it. So EAs are the most advanced pieces of software. That's where all the intelligence lies, and there's literally hundreds of thousands of them all across the internet. Some of them are free, some of them are expensive, some of them are not so expensive. It all depends. Some of them are completely useless. Some of them are very, very useful. It all depends on you as well. So these are the three main things that you need to know about MetaTrader 4 that are going to make your life much easier, right? So I have a couple of questions here. Okay, so Rotimi is asking me a cheat question, which is a good question. He's saying, hey, I'm in MetaTrader 4, right? And I'm looking at euro yen, but what if I want to look at what a pound yen? What if I want to see how pound yen is trading? All I got to do, oops, sorry. The big problem with me showing you anything is that I actually have to type for a living, and I'm the world's worst typer. So how do I quickly change the currency pair on a particular chart that I'm looking at, right? All I do is I click in here into this box over here. Now it becomes live. And I can change it to, for example, Aussie dollar, right? That's how I quickly change. That's a MetaTrader trick, really kind of not well documented, but that's how you would do it. Okay, so that answers your question about how you fast change the thing. So how much historical data is provided for free? Not a lot. You can go into. I'm not going to go into how to download and deal with historical data because it's outside the purview of this course. But if you go into Tools, History Center, right? You click this, and then you Google it. You'll be able to download, import, and export some history if you want to go look at historical stuff. But again, the purpose of this particular webinar is just to teach you how to use the software and to trade it, right? So we have indicators, scripts, and EAs. Let's load an indicator, a proprietary indicator. Say we found an indicator on the web, we like it. How do we get it to work? How do we get an indicator to work? Let me show you. It's actually pretty easy. So first order of business, whenever you want to get anything to work in MetaTrader, you go into File, Open Data Folder. If you don't do this, you will never find the right folder because the actual, look at the Windows tree. It's buried 7 layers inside Windows taxonomy, right? So I'm going to repeat this again. I'm actually going to do this 3 times because this is the single most common task you'll be doing. File, Open Data Folder. This is the key to all of your success. This is where this is going to be the easiest way to navigate. This without this navigation shortcut, you'll never find where you got to go, right? So I'm going to go File, Open Data Folder, right? And it's going to open me up into this particular domain. It's going to say Config History Logs MQL4. We want to go into the MQL4 folder. We want to go into this folder. Double click this, right? And then inside there, you'll see experts. That stands for expert advisors. That's where the expert advisors go. You also see a scripts folder. That's where the scripts go. And you see an indicators folder. That's where indicators go. So I'm gonna double click indicators to open up the indicators folder, right? Now, I have taken the liberty to already not preload, but to download a couple of indicators just because I didn't want to waste our time. So now I have Windows Explorer in the right location for MetaTrader 4. Now I'm going to hit Control-N and open up a new Windows Explorer window, right? And I have this already preloaded myself, this little MT4 webinar folder that has scripts and indicators that I wanted to show you. So we're going to use this very interesting indicator. I found this indicator literally half hour before the webinar. And I'm going to show you how to download it. And the reason why I like it is because it's completely unlike anything that you've seen. Because and what I've done is I've Control-C, Control-V, cut and paste. All I've done is cut and paste, right? Now, the next step is a difference between this stuff working and this stuff not working. So let me show you what happens next. So I have these 2 windows. I'm going to close them up, close it up, right? Now, you're in the indicator tree, right? This is the most important step. And if you get it wrong, don't worry. I'll show you how to fix it, but don't worry about it. I'm going to right-click on this. When I right-click, this little menu comes up. And what I want to do is I want to hit the refresh button. When I hit the refresh button, what that does is it refreshes all of the software inside MT4. And now, if I'm going to scroll down, this strategy checklist indicator is suddenly available. You see it on your list, right? That's how you know it's working, once you see the indicator working. So we got to make sure we refresh the window. Now, if you forget to refresh the window, if for some reason you can't refresh the window, just simply go File, Exit, basically start and restart. If you start and restart MetaTrader 4, same thing. But this is a much more elegant solution. It doesn't require you to restart the program. You can just simply refresh, and that gives you a much faster way of clearing the cache and getting the indicator to work, right? So this is a cool indicator. I'll show this to you, and I'll be happy to, for those of you who are interested, we'll be happy to get you these indicators. So FX strategy checklist, right? The reason why I like this indicator is because it is not a RSI crossing average indicator or moving average indicator. It's not an informational indicator. It's actually a psychological indicator. What this is this is a very, I don't know who thought of this, but I actually loved what this guy did. Is you write out all the rules of your strategy. You write out all the rules of your strategy, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you I'm going to put this in, this is left. I want it to be in the upper right, because the only reason I want it to be in the upper right because I don't want it blocking this particular window, so it's going to go over here, right? So let's just say I'm gonna write out my scalp strategy. I'm going to call it scalp, and you have like 10 lines to write out scalp, right? And rule number 1 is trend 1 hour or longer. I'm just, you don't have to know the rules because these are rules. People who in my chat room know these rules, but I'm just going to write out three examples just to show you what this thing does. Has the 5-minute moving average cross closed with trend? What else? Let's see what other rules here. Is there no news for at least an hour? Okay, just 3 simple rules. It doesn't matter. You could have 10 rules, right? But here's the cool thing. So I'm going to say okay, right? Say okay, and now watch what happens. This particular indicator now is on the chart, and what this does is it gives you a mental checklist before you actually make a trade, right? I love this thing. I thought this is the greatest thing in the world because honestly, 99% of the mistakes most traders make are not strategic. They're mental because they rush their setup, right? I do this all the time. People who trade with me know that one of my biggest weaknesses is I rush my setup all the time. If this isn't checked, I front run my setup, and in order for me to really make money, this has to be checked properly. So this kind of forces you to kind of check your all your dots and arrows. And once it's checked, then you can go and make a trade, right? It's not like this is it's not going to let you trade. But what it does is it gives you sort of an accounting. It forces you to be accountable to yourself, right? Now here's a cool thing. Here's a cool thing that I want to show you. So we've set up this indicator, right? And what if I wanted to have this indicator on every single chart that I was going to scalp with, right? So I'm going to set this up. I'm going to say save template. I'm going to say Boris checklist, right? There's my template, right? And now I'm going to go to Aussie dollar. I'm going to apply Boris checklist. And look, same thing. So if I wanted to scalp Aussie dollar, I would be forced to look at this and be forced to to acknowledge that I'm trading properly, right? So this is just a simple example, a little bit out of the box of the kind of stuff you can do. You obviously can do moving average crossovers and everything else, and CCI and everything else that you can lay down on there. But the point being here is I wanted to show you 1, an indicator, 2, how do I download it, 3, how do I install it. So now we have installed this indicator. Okay, people are asking me which EAs are useful. The EAs that I write in my own chat room. So the EAs that we produce for our own traders, those are the most useful EAs. But I do have a very useful EA for you guys if you hang with me to the end of this webinar that you guys can get. So don't worry. I will give you a parting gift that you will like very much. So this is indicators, right? Now let's